this hunt, my buddy Clay Newcomb and I head to the sand hills of Nebraska on a guided whitetail deer hunt.
100% there's going to be a buck within shooting range of where we were this morning.
But our hunting guide probably isn't what you're expecting.
I think I hear something walking through the corn. You got some bionic ears if you hear something walking through that corn.
This is Jordan Budd. She grew up ranching here on this land and then went off in an unexpected direction back in high school when she started tending to her own outfitting business via text message in the hallways between classes. Now she's showing me and Clay what's up.
I feel like if we can find the deer, I can get you closer.
All we need to do is sit back, listen, and hope that luck and time play out in our favor.
The deer are stressing now.
I've followed trails of all kinds, pursuing wild game through our country's wildest places. These are my stories. These are my people. I'm Steven Ranella, and this is MeatEater. The sand hills of Nebraska, up in the northern part of the state right near the South Dakota border. This is wide open farm and ranch country where cattle and deer way outnumber humans and where you're just as likely to see a herd of elk as you are a stranger's car. A chunk of this ground has long belonged to the family of Jordan Budd, who started guiding on this land when most kids her age were busy messing around with school sports and house parties. I recently met Jordan when she came to our studio to record an episode of the MeatEater podcast. I appreciated the pure American elbow grease that Jordan applies to everything she does, and also her quiet, understated demeanor. Clay and I asked her what would be involved with hiring her to guide us on a deer hunt on her family's ranch. Turns out it's as simple as Googling running water hunting. After a fair bit of back and forth, here we are, Clay and me in Nebraska, having a pre-dawn discussion with Jordan about a game plan for that quintessential American game animal, the white-tailed deer.
How old were you when you guided your first client?
Gosh, I was like 10 probably.
Really?
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if I was.
Then in high school, you started like advertising hunts, right?
Yeah.
How nervous do you feel when you're guiding clients? Like, do you feel the weight of the world on your shoulders?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah, I feel really nervous first morning usually.
So you're nervous right now?
Yeah.
We're gonna be down here.
Yeah, so there's a pretty big hill. It's a good lookout point. We can see everywhere, like where Clay's gonna be, and we can see back into this stuff. Yeah, we'll be able to get a pretty good view of all of it.
Can you tell me the name of this?
Deer Creek.
I like it.
I like that a lot, man.
See, she's putting you down there, but she's putting me on like no Deer Creek over here.
During this time of year, are you up there, whether you have clients or not, are you up there perched up there seeing what's going on?
A lot of time, yeah.
You're scouting a lot.
Yeah, so yeah, we were up there scouting yesterday morning.
And these deer are coming from feed. There's corn, standing corn down here.
Yeah.
So they're coming back into these brushy creek draws and river draws to bed.
Yeah, very transitional is how we hunt them. In the mornings, they'll go from feed to bed, and then in the afternoons, they'll do the opposite. So we try to catch them on those routes.
And are you careful not to disturb them once they get down in there?
I really try to, unless I've seen a deer go in there and we can like work the tops and just try to get them, especially this time of year where they're chasing does and like moving in and out of trees.
So just try to get up there and peek down in there on them.
Yeah.
And if you see one today, that doesn't mean you're gonna see them tomorrow.
No, it is kind of hit and miss for that.
With the
It really is.
They're moving around.
So you gotta
Yeah.
be like, you can't be like, oh, let's check on them tomorrow and see.
Yeah.
You might have to go.
There's been deer that I know of, they've summered here, and then they always end up back there in December.
6 miles.
Yeah, I think they run the river a lot. I don't think they stay right
Yeah, I
in
got
just a
you.
little area.
Yeah.
I've been seeing a lot of deer come across this.
Uh-huh.
So if we can stay on the hill, the idea is we can see them and then see which way direction they're headed and try to get in front of them. I feel like if we can find the deer, I can get you closer.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I feel confident.
Good.
With a rough plan in place, we head out onto the property just as dawn begins to break. Jordan and I will be covering one part of the ranch, while Clay sets out solo about a mile away.
There's a deer way back. Like there's a fence that runs along the trees.
Oh, yeah, I got it.
For now, the idea is to just get the lay of the land and see where the deer might be hanging out or heading to.
I've seen them before. They'll come across the top and go like right through where those cows are and drop into the creek over in here somewhere.
Yeah, I see a deer out there. It's too early to tell much about him, but he's just, a lot of times in the rut, you'll see these bucks, they just stand and watch. He's probably watching deer we can't see.
Usually you'll see like, we just seen 20 deer already, at least.
Really?
Yeah, it's really slow.
What do you think's going on?
I don't know. I was thinking like, it was pretty good last week at this time. Like it seemed like we were seeing a lot of activity. And when the wind came up, it like really shut it off.
God, shouldn't have told me because I was excited about the deer.
Yeah.
The most important thing at this early stage in our hunt is information. The general plan is that when we do find a decent buck, we'll determine his line of travel and perhaps where he's headed, and then do our best to stalk him or get out ahead of him and get a shot. Eventually, we do see such a buck, one that really warrants a better look.
I would shoot that deer.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't think that's that dude from earlier, I guess?
Dude, it could be.
Yeah. He's covering some ground, though.
Yeah, seriously.
Just like running around like Fulton.
Yeah.
That's a nice deer.
The problem is, his ass is over the fence and flirting with all that corn. Just as soon as we know he's there, he's gone.
Into the corn.
Vanished into the yellow sea.
I'd almost say we move closer to him, but
This little zone.
yeah, he might just come right around and go back through here anyways. Yeah, let's move up there.
Over the days, we will develop an unfriendly relationship with all this corn. When the corn's as tall as it is, it can swallow up whole herds of deer and elk, and the best you can do is stare at it, wondering what the hell's going on in there, waiting for bucks to come out in order to cruise around in search of does or head to water. It's the kind of feature that you love because the deer love it, but then you kind of hate it too for the exact same reason. In general, Jordan feels it's best to more or less stay put in order to hopefully catch the buck coming back out of the corn. But I'm leaning on Jordan a little bit to give me a quick walking tour of at least part of the ranch, just so I can feel as though I'm understanding our context a little better.
So what did he drop down into when he went out of view?
He would have been traveling that direction out in an open pasture.
Oh, I thought you were saying he's going to drop down into another camp.
I thought he was, yeah. It sticks out into the back. Those most distant trees you can see just the tips up.
Yeah.
That's that.
Oh, so he might have rolled over.
Yeah, I think that's where we want to get to.
What this means is that Clay feels justified in moving into our spot and working on my buck in my absence.
Golly, that's a big old deal.
I have to admit, it's not a bad idea on his part.
Steve's gonna be like, why didn't you shoot that big buck that came within 50 yards of you? And I'll be like, I never saw it. We were turning around calling turkeys. Wind's blowing hard out of the south, it looks like.
Yeah, we've got about 3 hours to hunt.
I'm gonna be watching back where we sat this morning because I know the sequence of how these hunts go. When you can see where you were yesterday or this morning, for 100% there's gonna be a buck within shooting range of where we were this morning. It's just the way it works. Now we could try to cheat the system and get back over there real quick. That doesn't work. Tried it before. Got me. I'm hurt. Oh. Who knew?
Jordan and I spend the evening going over a lot of ground and doing a lot of glassing from spot to spot to spot. The windy conditions continue though, and the unusual slowness Jordan observed this morning carries over throughout the afternoon and into the evening. There's very little activity, and we close out the day without any significant action. Meanwhile, Clay has a stroke of good luck. What I like to call my buck emerges from the exact location where he vanished. After a minute, he clears the border fence and heads pretty much dead nuts in Clay's direction.
Back. Back. Oh, man. That's a good buck. Golly. As nervous as a cat, man. Used to shooting with a bow. It's not that easy shooting them with a gun either. Wow. Beautiful deer. Beautiful deer. Golly. Oh, man. Oh, wow. Look at that. This is an incredible deer. Big-bodied, lots of good corn-fed meat, big, heavy horns. This is the first buck that I've killed with a rifle since I was probably 16 years old. I think I killed one buck with a rifle, and I bow hunted, muzzleloader hunted, and I was extremely nervous when that deer started trotting towards me. Sometimes you come into a place like this and you kind of feel like you don't really deserve a deer like this, having been here just one day. It really is an honor to be able to come and hunt these animals here.
Good deal, man.
Yeah.
Awesome. Super cool.
Yeah.
We watched him run a bit this morning.
I wonder if it is the first one we
I
saw,
wonder.
too. If that's the case, he put some miles on.
Oh, yeah. I didn't see that right side. I wonder if this is just the way he is or if he got
Injured. Yeah, injured at some point as well.
Yeah. Thank you, Jordan.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Man,
Thanks
you
for
did all the
coming.
work.
What's that?
Yeah, it blew the top of the heart out.
Yeah, he wasn't going nowhere.
Yeah.
That's good.
Now, is this a deer you've seen before, Jordan?
I don't think so, man. I think I would have noticed the right side. I would have
Yeah.
recognized the right side for sure.
So you think he just came in for the rut?
Yeah, I could have came in for the rut or it was just avoided the cameras for so long type of deal.
Yeah.
What's the plan this morning?
We're gonna sit patiently. And hopefully the deer will be coming out of the corn. Or maybe moving to it. Dude, there's deer walking right in front of where Clay was yesterday morning.
Really?
Yeah. Damn it.
Oh, yeah. Looks like a doe. Is that a doe?
Yep.
Yeah.
Just a lone doe. I'm surprised there's nothing with that doe.
Yeah, nothing coming behind it. You were asking me about my feelings about lunar phases,
Yeah.
but you didn't tell me your feelings about lunar phases.
I didn't think it made a difference.
You don't think it makes a
No.
difference? The science has your back.
Well, I wonder about it sometimes if it's really slow or something. And I look at the moon and be like, I wonder if that's a deal. But then the next day it would be on fire. So,
You know, we accepted it as gospel, but there's just no, like when you look at the behavior of deer wearing GPS collars,
Yeah.
there's just nothing to substantiate it. It's confusing though.
yeah.
I'm glassing this morning for Steve. As I'm sitting over here this morning watching Steve over there, knowing that yesterday I was hunting his spot, but he chose to go walking around. So I ended up in his spot, killed the deer that he saw yesterday. I just can't help but feel that it should be me over there grinding it out and him over here gloating in the glory of killing a buck the evening before. But it's me. I'm behind the glass now.
I think I hear something walking through the corn. You got some bionic ears if you hear something walking through that corn. Really? Yeah, it just sounds like crack, crack. Oh, yeah. Oh, it even be a post to move it backwards a little bit to see that better. So if they come out of that dead window, we have a shot. I'll do that. Yeah. Do you notice big differences in the way they behave, depending on wind, cloud cover, and all that? Or is it like pretty consistent day to day?
I think it's pretty consistent day to day.
Really?
Yeah. I think the biggest difference I see is when the crops are in, it kind of upsets our usual.
God.
I think, yeah.
So it's more like what's going on with ag
Yeah,
than the weather.
for sure.
Yeah. You see all those elk? Oh, look at them all. Holy shit, yeah. Yeah, it's crazy, huh?
Or they're running.
Throughout my life, I've killed all manner of whitetail does and spikes and forkies and little basket rack 6-points. But spending so much time in the mountains and in Alaska as a grown-up pulled me out of the whitetail game before I had the experience of ever getting one of a decent size. I'm excited to have a few days in a place where there's potential to get the kind of whitetail where you'd put its skull on your shelf and people would forever come over to your house and say, "Where'd you get that thing?" But here's the deal. Getting one of those bucks means not getting other bucks in the meantime. You can't let yourself get seduced by a sure thing. You have to wait for the right deer. So the benefit of having someone like Jordan with you cannot be overstated. She has years and years of data to draw from, giving you valuable intel that can inform your decisions.
It's a really good spot.
Looks like a great spot.
Most of like the bigger whitetail that we've killed have been like right in here.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, definitely for whatever reason. In the earlier season for running cameras, it seems like the bigger deer are always here.
Still, she can't make the deer be where they ain't.
It's a deer on the skyline.
Oh, yeah. That looks like a little buck, huh?
Yeah, I think so. If it's a doe, it'll be the second one we've seen without a buck and doe. Have you ever heard of the lockdown theory for whitetail?
That they're on a doe.
They're on a doe, so they're just laying down and they won't move.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's like a period in the rut when they're in lockdown, when all the does are most receptive.
Yeah. I was around a guy once that whenever his clients didn't see anything, he would just tell them that all the deer were in the lockdown.
Yeah. Yeah, you always want to read something into everything, but then not read too much into it.
Yeah.
I think where people get themselves in trouble is when they throw in the towel based on little indicators like that.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm just gonna go back to the house. They're in lockdown.
Coincidentally, with the afternoon setting in, we know that deer really are going to be in a sort of lockdown, since that's when they like to bed down out of the high sun. There won't really be any activity until later this evening, so we all head back to the house to process Clay's deer.
So there weren't as many whitetails around here when you were growing up?
It seems like it was more of a 50-50 split for whitetail and mule deer when I was growing up. Now it's definitely shifted to more whitetail, less mule deer.
Why do you think that is?
I've heard that whitetail are just more aggressive. They'll actually push the mule deer out. And kind of wondered if there wasn't some truth to that.
Now, you can tell a lot about someone when they call it quits.
I always feel good about myself if I get deep into that neck meat. It's good.
Good one.
Now look, if your buck is 3.5 years or older, you got a meat rack. 2.5-year-old deer, you couldn't do that. That's usually how I age deer. Okay, there was the first shot, there was the second shot. So I hit him in the shoulder both times. It was a little low. I expected him just to drop, but he kept running.
Yeah.
So I kept shooting.
That's the right thing to do. What do you like to do with the ribs, Steve?
Either slow cook them or grind them. But a lot of times I'll take them off on the bone, you know? And then do them just like a short rib or whatever, but just braise it first.
Yeah.
I'm not ashamed in the least to grind an entire deer
Yeah?
and use it for chili, tacos, nachos, hamburgers, meatloaf, because people kind of grind shame you. You know, why are you grinding all that good meat?
Did you say you got grind shame?
Yeah, yeah. You know what I'm talking about. Good job.
Later that evening, Jordan and I set out once again to hunt out the rest of the day. But it's completely quiet until about 40 minutes before dark when we finally catch a bit of a break.
There's a buck. All right. Yeah. He's on the edge of the corn. He's just standing there. I wonder how he'd respond to that rattle. He might. He's just standing there looking. I would maybe go back to where he started. Yeah.
The problem now, of course, we're racing against the legal light. When he finally moves from his spot, he heads in the wrong direction. I try to follow and see where he goes, but time is not on my side.
You know what time sunset is? Legal light. We've got 18 minutes. I want you to know I'm having a very, very good time, just in general. I'm glad. Yeah, so don't worry about them. Okay. The deer are stressing me out.
Do you get burned out on hunting?
I don't really think so. I get more burned out when the deer are moving.
Really?
Yeah.
Let's say we don't get one.
Yeah. It's okay. We don't sell a deer, we sell the experience.
That's good. That's good.
That deer would turn out to be our last good opportunity. For the next 2 days, Jordan and I put in the hours, and we see plenty of deer.
It's hard when you see one over there to not want to do the bounce.
Sure.
We see does.
This whitetail doe.
She got a buck after her.
I haven't seen one yet.
We see little bucks.
Where the cornfield curves, there's a buck chasing a doe.
He's not very big.
No.
That's a banger buck.
We see deer across property lines we can't touch.
That was like a jillion miles, so.
They're gonna need to turn a lot.
What's that deer right there?
We see the wrong species of deer.
Oh no, it's a muley. Shit. It's a nice muley.
And, as always,
Like 2 minutes.
there's that pesky setting sun.
I shoot like.
But we just don't see the sort of buck that I'm hoping to find.
Little buck came in. Not a big one with him though.
I was hoping that deer would maybe get bigger with the light. Doesn't really seem to be the case. He doesn't have what I would be like, shoot that deer.
Little buck.
A little buck.
Yeah, in the edge of the corn.
Oh yeah, I can see him.
Yeah,
Call those bucksters. It's a buckster.
I like that.
Buckster.
For sure.
Weirdly, none of that matters too much to me. I was figuring that some hunting anxiety and desperation would kick in as the clock ticked down, but it doesn't. I know Jordan is frustrated and disappointed deep down. I know because I understand the circumstances. I understand the ambition and desire to be successful at this thing after putting in the time and work. I've been in those shoes so much that I've got that feeling memorized. But while she certainly has the disappointment, she's talented enough and smart enough to not let that disappointment leak out and get all over everything.
It was crazy to me how this can look so flat and just the smallest divot, they can completely disappear.
Oh, yeah. You always think you're seeing everything, but
Yeah, hunting like flat ground for antelope. A lot of times my strategy is to find one way off and walk to it, but then shoot the one that I run into on the way there. But I didn't know it was there.
That's a good strategy.
That discipline is contagious, and there's no way I'm gonna express ill feelings. First off, because I don't have any. But if I did, I wouldn't disrespect Jordan by expressing them. Instead, I just want her to know the truth. I couldn't be happier.
Last night made me real cocky about this morning.
Me too. But sometimes the wind will be whipping like this and it'll be just fine.
Yeah, it's so hard to understand what the hell they care about. No. Like, we can recognize the wind, so we think that that must be whatever is controlling, like, movements, but it could be any number of other things.
It's quite humbling, if I'm being honest.
Them being in lockdown on us?
Just, I'd give it anybody in the world $5 grand to say that this hunt would have gone over 2 days.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Besides, it's not like we got totally skunked anyways. Clay's been sitting on his butt being bored for 3 days. Poor guy.
This should be Steve Rennell's buck. It should be me out there.
On our last night there, Jordan offers to grill up some marinated whitetail backstrap and make her 100% original rendition of sauteed mushrooms to go with it.
So, chicken fried steak's pretty much what I grew up on, unless it was like ground in sausage or hamburger.
if it's venison, we're gonna chicken fry it.
Yeah, chicken fry it is how my grandma did it.
So then you got burned out on that, and then you got into just grilling it.
Yeah, I got into just grilling it because everybody was like, you have to have it, you know, rare, medium rare. And I never tried that, and then I tried it and was like, this is the way to go.
Started cooking on your own.
For sure.
So you marinate.
I just use like a basic steak seasoning mix, kind of whatever I've got. And I threw some garlic in there and then soy sauce. I really like mushrooms, so I've got like a mushroom glaze type thing.
Soy sauce, Worcestershire, apple cider vinegar, boatload of honey.
Honey's the thing that does it.
You feel like we didn't get them, but we got one.
Yeah, we got one.
The thing is, he got it too fast. Let's say no one got anything.
Yeah.
No one got anything, and then tonight Clay got one. You'd be happy.
I'm still happy.
You'd be happier,
I'd be happier.
because you'd have ended on a high note. But instead, it was like, success.
Yeah.
And then it was like,
It does kind of mess stuff up when you kill one on the first day.
Yeah.
every day I woke up, I was glad I got to go hunting again. I don't care. I had a great time. Saw all kinds of deer. Could have shot at deer. I had a great time. I don't care that I didn't get one. It's not what it was for me.
Yeah.
A lot of times, it very much is wanting to get one. But this, I don't know. I thought it was fun to look around. Hadn't hunted in Nebraska before.
Whitetail hunting is just never a gimme, ever.
No.
I mean, there's some hunts you go into and you think, we're probably gonna tag out in a couple of days. And you just typically, with whitetail, it's just not that way. There's just too many variables.
Especially if you set a bar. If you set a bar where you're trying to get like a mature deer.
Yeah, for sure. It was good. It was a little humbling. I maybe got too used to
All that
shooting one
success.
early. Yeah.
I'm happier than if I had got one.
Really?
Yeah, I had a great time.
Cool. Awesome.
You got a sweet spot.
Thanks, dude.
I'll come back and hunt more.
I'm glad you guys liked it.